Welcome back, folks. Wisdom on Tap. Co-hostess with the mostess is back. We're going to pick up where we left off in the last episode, I reckon, because I was enjoying it.
Yeah, me
I was
too.
going to dive straight in.
We were talking about the importance of a why, because something that's come up for me when I've been trying to set goals and stuff, and I was asking you, how important is it, do you think, to have a why? And you were kind of like talking about how sometimes it is, sometimes people don't know what it is, but if you make them try and figure out what it is, and this is what's happened to me, it can put them off and they start second guessing themselves.
Yeah. Also, I think sometimes you can figure it out on the way.
Okay.
If it feels good to go pursue that, like just go pursue it, and then you'll figure out along the way why it's important or if it's not important. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, if you listen, you're like, I know my why. Crack on, that's great. But some people will be like, I don't know my why, and if it causes you to to not take action on the things that you think you want, then is that serving you? How useful is it? Is the question I'll ask about anything.
Yeah.
How useful is that?
Yeah.
Is it useful to spend 5 years looking for your why?
Yeah. Or is it more useful just to lose a 2 stone because it's going to save your life?
Just get out there and do it and go, why did I do that? I don't know, I think I did it because I feel better. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, and also when you're stuck in a rut and, no one does anything, no one comes into my world because their life's amazing. There's 2 reasons really. One, I'm stuck and I'm stuck because I'm out working, so I'm leaning towards following someone like you.
Yeah.
Or very often it's like, hey, I'm flying, but actually I really want
Next level
kind of stuff. So even then, they're still stuck in a way.
Yeah. Well, they just need to unlock that next door to that next level.
Yeah, people are stuck.
Okay. So
You're just going to fire questions at me.
I am, yeah, because in the last few years, I've really got into improving myself. If you're going to strip it back, basically making me better at being me, right? In all areas, financially, physically, mentally, spiritually, if you like. And I'm kind of like I wouldn't call myself a self-help junkie because I am aware that, just doom scrolling through self-help people is not helpful. But I do love all the podcasts and audiobooks that I listen to. So basically, I don't listen to music now, which you might find surprising. I rarely listen to music unless I have to, like I'm learning a song for a gig or whatever.
Can I stop you there?
Yeah.
We're like the opposite.
Yeah.
I never listen to self-help stuff, but I listen to music all day.
But it makes sense because that's your job and music's my job. As much as I love it, sometimes I just need a break from it because I'm playing music a lot. So often when I've got these long drives, I'll either listen to TalkSport and I can only deal with that for about an hour or 2 and then it winds me up. Jim White winds me up. Don't know why. Anyway.
Jim's an avid listener of us.
Is he? Sorry, Jim.
Sorry, Jim. Keep tuning in, mate. We'll have Simon Jordan on here soon.
I like Simon Jordan. He's a very divisive character. You wouldn't get a word in edgeways if he was on.
I love him, but I can't do an impression of him, but he's very like, so what you're saying is, listen to me.
The thing is, he's really clever and it takes a special person to beat him in an argument, I think.
He's very articulate.
Yeah, he is. Anyway, we digress. So I love learning about how to improve yourself in different areas. And like I said, it's probably my go-to form of infotainment. So I don't listen to music. If I watch TV, it's usually a documentary or it's sport. So, but I do spend a lot of time in my car driving and I always listen to audiobooks or podcasts and they're always some form
What's the best audiobook you listen to?
Whatever.
This year.
There's one I've just finished now and I forget the full title, but it's called The Something.
Must have been belting, to be fair.
Yeah, no, it is really good. I bought it 4 years ago and I started listening to it. I was like, fuck this, it's not for me. And now I just finished it and it was totally for me.
Yeah, it's mad.
And it's called The Something Joy, The Unexpected Joy of Being Sober. And it's by a girl called Catherine Gray, who was, I think, by her own admission, was at least on the cusp of being an alcoholic or was an alcoholic. And it's about her journey since then of not drinking at all. And the first time I listened to it, I was just starting not drinking. Not that I was an alcoholic, but I was definitely drinking too much in lockdown. So I wasn't really ready for it because it was like, fuck you, like, you need great life.
But now you're in the converted.
But now I've come through the other side and I can stop.
Yeah.
I don't drink very often, and I have long periods when I don't drink at all. It was really interesting. So that was a good one. I've listened to loads.
Interesting
of good
thing,
ones.
the drink. It's a big. It's everywhere now. Not drinking.
Oh God.
And I don't think that's my mind algorithm, as I would call it.
You like a pint, don't you?
I do like a pint.
I love a pint.
I like a pint. I don't know. I suppose the argument there is someone say, well, it can't be good for you. So I'm not going to sit here and say drinking's good for you.
It's definitely not good for you on a physical level.
No. However, I think in all things there's context.
Yeah. If it makes you feel good for the right reason.
So if you enjoy it and it doesn't impact your life to any extent, I don't see the problem. When people labour the point of, well, it's not good for you, I'm like, yeah, so Nor's being fat, so sort that out.
Yeah.
Well, so Nor's...
breathing in exhaust fumes.
Nor's
or eating chocolate.
Let's start here. Any kid that's scrolling a tablet or screen is probably going to have neurological issues.
Yeah, not good for you.
Well, so stop that as well, please.
Tight underpants are not good for you.
Yeah.
And mine really tight.
So it's like you can all play the whole, this is bad for you, don't do it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things are bad for you.
Most things are bad for you.
So I get it.
Too much.
It's a point. I get that. So I'm not going to say it's good for you. But when people's argument is, well, it's bad for you, I can't believe you do it. I often look at that person and think, well, what bad habits do they have then? Yeah. That they could stop. So, but then they probably, what I don't like then is if you say that, somebody's like, well, they want to almost think that you've got a problem with it. That's why you're defending the argument. That's the comeback in personal development. Yeah. Well, it's obviously triggering you. So no, it's not triggering me at all. I
like on your radar.
Yeah, I like one.
Yeah, I do too. But yeah, getting back to the...
No, I won't keep talking.
The reason I mentioned the not drinking thing, because it was a book that I've just listed. I literally just finished it today. But that is, for me, the not drinking is less about the fact that it's bad for you if you drink too much. It's about me doing something I said I was going to do. That's what it's for. So, and I said I was going to stop drinking for 100 days.
And you didn't?
Not yet. It's day 40 today.
Why?
So, but in the past when I've said I'm going to do things, most of the time I fail or fall short. So for me, it's more about I'm going to do this thing. And it's not about not drinking. It's about doing something that you said you would do. And that for me, as we know in the previous chat about lack of consistency and not following through, that's the thing that I want to prove to myself. So it could be like, don't eat Mars bars for 40 days, which would probably be harder for me than not drinking. To be
so
honest.
Why do you think you failed in the past?
Complacency. There's this thing called FAB, is it? Fading something bias. And it's when so most people, if we take the drink as an example, stop drinking after they've had a heavy night or heavy session, right? Which is what happened to me. I went to a mate's wedding 40 days ago, had too much, woke up, felt like shit. I was like, I'm not drinking for a while. Yeah. And what happens is after a few days, you start to feel better. You forget how bad that feeling was. So you think, one won't hurt. I'll just have one. It's Friday. I'll just have a beer. And then it just starts to creep back into your life. Next thing you know, it's most days and it's more than one. So, and that's why I want to get rid of that type of drinking.
Yeah, it's when we get away from the pain, isn't it?
Yeah, so for me, I think probably the reason that if we take anything that I've ever done that I said I was going to do and not complete it, it's probably being consistent over a long period of time, which we talked about that in the first one we did. I am consistent, but I do drop the ball a lot within that long period of time, as do everyone, as does everyone. So I think that's what it's about for me, and that's why I kind of am interested in a lot of these books and these what you do, because I think it's fascinating. Like, why are humans their own worst enemy? Like that's essentially why we're here, right? Because you're trying to stop or help humans not be their own worst enemy. Like, no one's got a gun to my head saying, you've got to eat that Mars bar, Mark, or you've got to have that 5th pint. But we do it. And there's like, you could probably put all human existential problems down to the fact that we're just shit at controlling ourselves, basically. And why is that? And how do we try to improve on
What
that?
a question, huh? You're asking me that. Why are humans their own worst enemy?
Well, of the two people sat across this table, you know why.
I don't think
More
I do.
than I do.
There's tons of reasons why.
Go on then.
Why do people do things they don't want to do? Is that what we're asking?
Because you do want to do it in the moment.
Yeah, people do the things they don't want to do for loads of reasons.
To escape.
I don't think if I had to pick one, most people are just fucked. I don't mean like...
Yeah.
I mean, just exhausted.
Right. You don't have the willpower to...
Yeah. Most motivation issues are energy issues.
Are they?
Most willpower issues are energy issues. How do you feel when you're tired? How do you feel when you had a long day and your kids haven't slept?
Yesterday I was...
You just go, I'll have a beer, I'll do that. You just reach for...
Yeah.
And I think you reach for habitual things.
Yesterday I was shattered because I went to bed really late the 2 nights previous, and all I wanted to do was have a beer and eat chocolate. The two things we're trying to do.
But is that something you've always done before?
Well, I've not done it because I've never thought, oh, I'm tired, I'll have a beer.
No, but is that a go-to for you?
Yeah, that's my vice, chocolate and beer, yeah.
Yeah, so it's for a lot of us, it's a habit, isn't it?
It's just habit, yeah. But it's interesting that on the day when I was definitely knackered, I thought about it way more than when I'm not tired.
Yeah, I think, again, if you look around, we are chronically stressed individuals now. I think most people are chronically stressed. We live in a fast-paced world. There's, you compare the world that we live in to the world my dad grew up in. His world was much smaller, wasn't it? Be honest, my dad's 74, it's a smaller world. He didn't know what was going on across the world. He didn't know, what Frank Sinatra was doing on a weekend, did he? On his Instagram stories. Can you imagine that, though? What an era that would have been.
Well, that's the thing, is that those people wouldn't have survived because you couldn't get away with what they were doing.
No.
And they wouldn't have been able to have the lifestyles.
They wouldn't have been recording that, would they?
No.
But I suppose what I'm trying to say is we live in much faster paced worlds. Most people are chronically stressed all the time about life and rushing and getting places and worries and houses and money and inflation and all these things. And sometimes I think we reach to things that just make us feel better in the moment.
In the short term, yeah.
It's like, it makes you feel better in the moment. And a lot of that is habitual. I had somebody asked me the other day, so they said, I self-sabotage. Why do I do that? And I'm like, it's okay. Well, what does that look like? So what do you mean? Well, I tell myself I'm not good enough. Yeah. I said, oh, brilliant. So what do you do when you tell yourself that? Well, I do this. And that's the thing that's important. It's like the action.
Right.
I'm like, so you do this and this and this. Yeah, great. Well, what could you do instead of that? Like literally, what can you do instead of that? You've got to stop doing that. It doesn't matter how much work you do on the I'm not good enough belief. If you keep reinforcing it by taking the action. Yeah. But we're very blasé, aren't we? I overthink. What do you do when you overthink? Oh, I don't know. Well, pay attention. I don't do anything. No, you probably do. What do you do when you overthink? What do you physically do? There's always an action somewhere, especially with sabotage. And I know people say sabotage doesn't exist. But if we look at the definition of sabotage is, say we look at this definition, sabotage is an action that takes me away from what I want. Then it does in that moment. So why do we take actions that actually don't align with what we want? There's loads of reasons that people do that, isn't there? Do you know what I'm saying? But ultimately, it's the action that's got to be worked on.
Not the thought process behind it.
Yeah, there's an element of that. But we kind of spend all the, if you look at a lot of personal development, it's all around the thought process, isn't it? You've got to understand that. You've got to understand that. But you can work on those limiting beliefs and why you're not good enough and all this a lot. But if you keep then not really changing the physical action of
reaction to it,
then it's going to keep reinforcing that pattern. So it's like, how do I stop that? Now, you can't just say, well, just stop it. But it's like, I would always have, I realize we're just on a tangent about sabotage, but the one thing I always do to myself is I just little outs all the time. So if it's like, if I do something, if I do the thing, then I. Like I have an action on the back end of it that almost like nullifies it. I'll give you an example in a minute.
Okay.
Or if I've had a shit day and I feel tired, if I feel like having a beer, I do this instead. Like I have that as a rule. If I feel like having a beer, I do this instead.
Right.
So it's kind of like, if I feel like doing that, here's what I'm going to do.
So you don't take the whole reward away, you just replace it with something else.
Yeah, I use I suppose what I'm doing there is I'm using that, that like, God, I've had a long day, I could do with a beer. I'm using that as like a trigger.
Yeah.
And I'm going, that means I have to do this instead.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So instead of having that, what I do is I go out and I go for a walk and listen to some music.
Okay.
I just take the dog for a walk. Because by the time I've taken the dog for a walk and come back,
yeah,
I know that I'm probably not going to do that.
Yeah.
Because I've replaced that initial thing.
But it requires movement. Does it always require some kind of physical action?
Obviously, I've slowed my drinking down because of my health.
Yeah.
Not that it was causing that.
Yeah.
But I know that if I walk the dog around the British camp, I will go to the pub.
Right. So you...
Because that's how habits are built, really.
Yeah.
One leads to the other.
Yeah.
And that's probably, you go, well, practice some self-control. And very often I can go, okay, I won't. Yeah. But I'll just break the loop. I'll be like, right, I'm going to walk. I really do not have a drink tonight. I'm going to walk the dog somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm not going to walk the dog around the golf course and then drive all the way to the pub. It ain't going to happen.
Is that what they call pattern interrupt?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Right.
And obviously it's a sign of how much your environment shapes your behaviour. Environmental cues all the time. But I suppose we're talking about why it comes back to, people talking about sabotage and all the rest of it, and why we're our own worst enemies. But I think a lot of it's practical. Like I'm big on beliefs and thinking and all the rest of it. And I'm not just an individual who's like, just don't do it or just grit in or...
Yeah.
But there has got to be an element of
otherwise
both.
There'd be no change, yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I'm like, you know what, if I'm going to go do that, I have give myself an out. It's more skillful management than just don't do it or beat myself up because I did it. So what happens if I do it? You know, generally I do it and I feel shit about myself.
Straight after.
So if I know if I do it, then I'm going to, if I do it, I do this after. Like I do something that makes me, you know, that's healthier, say, or makes, so I kind of attach a good habit onto the bad one. I'm just trying to change it all the time. But there's a million reasons. No one's going to answer, I don't think, why human beings do things that don't help them. But I know a huge reason, in my experience, is most of us are really tired and chronically stressed. And that causes you to do a lot of stupid shit to make yourself feel better.
And you think that's just part of being in the modern world?
I think it's outdated skills for the time we live in.
Right. Or maybe we need to update our skills for the time we live in. I heard somewhere recently that the speed at which we scroll through a phone is too fast for the human brain to kind of process the information in a normal way. And that's why people are getting addicted to scrolling. It's because it's like a hit of dopamine every few seconds. And that's what's causing a lot of the stress in the world. And I know myself, if I can manage to like put it down or have some time away from it, my headspace is so much better than when I'm constantly on it.
It's the change of scene as well.
It's almost like the human brain hasn't evolved in line with technology, and therefore our brain's like, what the fuck is going on?
It's a change of scene. It's the change of scene as well. Yeah. It's a change of style of content. Because when you scroll Instagram, you're probably going to go, oh, look, like, oh, that's some emotional like music on, and then a little bit of text over the top. Boom. Okay. Oh, a reel about something else. Oh, a comedy. Or a bloke flipping some cat wrestling a dog.
Unrelated.
It's like dung, da-dung, 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 da-dung. And so your brain just keeps paying attention because it's all these change of scene. Imagine if you had no phone, you probably wouldn't see many different environments throughout your day, I doubt, would you?
No, you'd at least slowly progress from one to the other because you have to get there.
Yeah, you get there. It's not like this massive change of like stimulus to your brain all the time, is there? No. But there is there. Hey, that's one reason I've had this battle. Mark's heard me talk about it all the time. It's like, right, I want to get my message out there more, you know, right, probably should use my phone a bit more. Probably should, share my lifestyle more. And I'm glad that I'm just shit at it. Like I was saying to Mark off camera, like, I admire people who literally can take pictures of their day all day and share it on their story mode, because I get back from somewhere really good and I'm like, yeah, the wife's like, "Do you get any pictures?" Nah, I got one. What is it of?
Dinner.
Not even dinner. It's of there was that nice tree, wasn't there? And yeah. Get any of the kids? No. Did you? Nah, I got this crap. It's got this video. All right. So I'm always like, I feel like I'm always on this battle. Like, I probably should put more stuff on social media, but also I don't want to be on social media all the time. Yeah. It's just like it's this weird battle in me. It's like, I don't want to be on social media because I want to actually enjoy my life. Yeah. I don't want to live it through a camera lens. My life is, what's more important? Like having that moment with somebody I want to be with, or showing somebody I don't know that moment. Yeah. And I find it really ironic, not to rant on, but when people show up on my feed being like, you should take time off social media. I'm like, mate, you're on it all the time. I know how you've done all week. How can you come on here telling me to get off social media? You're always on it. Like, I know what you had for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner. I know exactly what you did in the gym. Yeah. Like, I don't know why I'm slightly obsessed with you, obviously. Yeah. If I wanted to kill you, it wouldn't be that hard to find out where you were. Yeah. Because I just don't get how I admire that in a way. So I couldn't be that disciplined to do that. But I'm glad I wouldn't. Is it a discipline though, or are they just addicted to I think it's posting? Business. Social media is business for most people. If you're following somebody on social media for personal development, then they are marketing to you constantly. And I'm marketing constantly. But not as much as... Well, I'm just not willing to sacrifice my personal life to make some more money. If you want to get abrupt about it. If I wasn't self-employed, I didn't need it, I would not have Facebook or Instagram. I think Instagram's the shittest. Honestly, I just do it because I feel like I have to. Yeah, Instagram's... Speaking of ranting and phones. Let's go on a rant. Let's just do it. Mate, this is the one where we all had a rant. Fucking rant. Do you know what I hate? Mark, do you want to rant about things? I'm going to rant about this. People at concerts filming the concert. Yeah. Get fucked. Get fucked. Turn your phone off. I've just lost half of you. I want to say that all opinions expressed in this episode are that of the expressor. Yeah. Honestly. In the previous one, we talked about how I feel that everyone's connected. And I'm sure most people would share that feeling, right? I don't understand why people go and film an entire concert. This concert I was at the other day, half the people just like this. And I'm like, you're not paying attention to it in the moment. And when you watch it back tomorrow, it's going to look and sound shit compared to how it is right now. Because now you're in the... And then I just don't get it. And I honestly, as someone that performs a lot, I mean, I'll perform and someone will literally come up and stick a phone in my face and film me without asking. Now, I can't say you can't do that because they'll just throw you're in the public, in the public domain or whatever. But, if I was a bus driver and someone came and started to film me, you'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? But for some reason, when you're on stage... What an analogy, though. If I was a bus driver doing 30 through Doncaster... Exactly. But when you're on stage, people think it's all right to do it. In fact, that's a different rant. But all I'm saying is, can't people just enjoy that moment without having to document it to put it somewhere else? Or even if it's just to watch it back... maybe get a couple of snaps or a couple of... But people are filming entire concerts. Yeah. I get that. And I kind of get why people would take videos of certain things. So now I get a bit of video of my son and, when he's doing things. I'm like, I'm going to get a little bit of video of him doing that. Right, yeah. A minute. Yeah. Yeah, boom, boom, boom. A little picture of us possibly. But then it's away, isn't it? Yeah. I don't... phones are everywhere now. It's the most invasive thing. Because I'm in a sauna and young people will bring a phone in there. And I'm like, I hope that blows up when I'm out of it. Work in there? I don't know. But people are like, how are you bringing a phone in here? You just scroll in Facebook. I get a sauna's boring, but I just think maybe I'm getting old. Phones in gyms, it's what A lad in the gym I was in the other day, lovely lad, was charging his phone by the rower, and I just thought,
yeah.
Like,
When people have full-blown conversations, like, I get it.
Are you charging? Maybe something really important was going to happen. So I can, but I'm going to probably surmise
It's not. Yeah.
I'm just like, hey, or like the new trend of like videoing yourself in the gym all the time. But, you know, I get it if you want to check your form or something, but it's like, I was for my Instagram account, you know. Oh, bore off. How many women, hot women, do I need to see do squats on my Instagram feed? More is the answer, Mark. More.
I mean, we do.
It's just the blokes I got a problem with.
we do sound like a pair of grumpy old gits, but for me as a father, and I'm sorry it is for you, it is a genuine concern now that kids are losing, and I can see it. I can see it in my own house, and when I'm out and about, kids are losing the ability not only just to converse properly, but their confidence is gone. And I read somewhere the other day that, and I don't know how accurate this is, but something about over 50% of teenagers report now that they have anxiety.
When they haven't got their phone?
No, when the phone rings.
Oh,
they don't want to pick it up. They're not used to having conversations. They want to do everything through messaging platforms.
That's how Mark feels dealing with me.
The problem with that is there's no tone, you know, it's, you know, how things can be taken the wrong way or your message doesn't get through clearly. But more importantly, like, we are a species that evolved through communication, and we are losing that ability to do it in the way that we evolved.
Yeah.
And it worries me. It really does concern me, that.
I think phones are extremely useful, but it's like all things. The devil's in the dose. It's like, I sound boring because I repeat myself all the time, but it's like, to what extent does that impact my life?
Yeah.
And I think a phone is so invasive. Yeah. They've done studies of, like, if there's a phone on a table in a conversation, just there, when people rate that conversation, they rate it as much less connected. Because there's a phone there.
Yeah.
And so I think phones have a huge amount to do with why people are chronically stressed.
Well, that's why I brought it up, because...
imagine having your phone there, and most of our phones are connected quite to work, to things, checking emails, our bank all of a sudden. You know, could your bank send you a text with your balance 10 years ago?
No.
Probably not. But it's probably not beneficial for most people to wake up and go, "Here's my bank balance." You know what I mean? There's these chronic...
It is addictive as well, without a doubt.
It's not just social media, it's everything. So I think if we can create boundaries or around, and you know, people create boundaries around alcohol, which is brilliant. Yeah. By the way, fair play. People create boundaries around food, in a sense, like, you know. So why can't we protect our own space? I think me and Mark, again, were chatting off camera, like, is nothing sacred anymore? Is there no, where are we going to get to? Is there no moment in your life that people don't just pop out their name? You know, it's like people always argue shit with me about this. Yeah, but the thing is, you know, I'm doing it for the memories. It's like, that's what your brain's for, mate. Your brain's got them, don't you worry. Yeah. How often do I scroll back and look through my phone and go, hardly ever.
I don't ever do it.
Embarrassingly, when I scroll back and look through my phone, it's selfies of me for work. Got any pictures? Yeah, hang on. I got 500 of me and the dog. Yeah. Oh, there's one of our kids there. Look, look at them. They look happy. But I'm happier when I'm not on my phone.
Same here.
That's my go-to when I'm tired, by the way.
Turn it off.
No, I mean, go to it.
Oh, really?
If I'm tired.
So like mine's food or alcohol, yours is...
Scrolling. So if I walk in after work, busy, kids are being fed, make a cup of tea, sit down. I notice sometimes you think, I'm scrolling. I wonder what that would look like if I could watch myself. I wonder what the whole scene would look like. There's my kids eating and probably yabbering away, and there's me just wondering what so-and-so's at for lunch today.
We're all guilty of it, aren't we?
Yeah.
I mean, I moan. I've got a teenage stepdaughter, and I don't do it so much now, but a few years ago, I used to give her grief about it, and yet I'm just as bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not as bad in the sense that she'll literally text from her bedroom about something, and I'm like, come down and ask me. I'm not that bad, but I will Check my phone at the dinner table, which we tell the kids not to do. I forget. Not do it.
And we all forget. Again, it goes back to this stuff. Why do we do things we know we shouldn't do? I think a lot of it's automation, autopilot, but
it's
phones
habit.
are
Habit.
It's habit. We just pick, and they're so addictive.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't say I'm addicted to my phone, but you are.
I think we all are to some degree.
Yeah, we go there for some kind of escape.
Yeah.
Even if we don't know we're trying to escape. And it's a weird, weird thing. But I think if you're looking at things improving phone usage sounds so boring, doesn't it? But I think it's just the spaces they shouldn't go in my life. I find that beneficial. That's what I'm trying to say. To have spaces where they don't go.
Like pop concerts or rock concerts.
Yeah, I went to watch Queen a few years back. And I recorded a little bit of me there, like, hey, I'm at Queen, da da da. And then you think it's much better not to be looking at it through my megapixel phone, isn't it? Just to be there. But there was a girl next to me who just recorded the whole thing.
That's
on
what
her
I'm
phone.
saying. Like, obviously, if you want to take a few shots, fine. But there were people the other night record just constantly and looking through their phone, and it's like
The mad thing is, you could probably just go watch that on YouTube.
and it'd be better.
So you go, man, that's what I'll be here. Just watch it on YouTube.
Yeah.
I went to a gig and they put signs on the seats. It said, please don't film the show.
Yeah.
It was Tool, and they're notorious for this.
Yeah.
And he gave them permission on the last song to do it.
That's a good idea.
And I was right at the back, and there was no phones.
Even when they right.
Yeah, it was weird.
That's a good idea.
Noel Gallagher tried one, didn't he? No phones, I'm sure.
If I was ever a famous artist, I think I would try and say, don't film this, please. Not for copyright or any of that legal shit. Just because enjoy the fucking moment. We're all here together. Let's just enjoy the beauty of the fact that it's a bit like life. It's fleeting, right?
Yeah.
So why, when you've got this really great moment where all these people are coming together for the love of music, why dissolve that by filming it so that I don't know, it really gets to me.
I can tell.
It
What else
really
gets
does
to you?
wind me up.
What else gets to you?
Because it
Well,
affects me as well. Because if I'm there and there's all these lights going off, I can't. I'm not getting the full benefit of the concert.
Yeah.
And
One thing that's going to come from this, I think, you might find, is you're going to lose a lot of bookings now.
Yeah, that's it.
Where's that miserable saxophonist bloke? Don't let you film him anymore.
Yeah.
I think most people get it in an arena, though. I think if someone says to me, look, there's no filming in here,
Yeah.
I'm somebody who go, okay.
Yeah, but they don't do that for some reason. They used to. Back in the day when phones first became like...
Theatres are like that, aren't they?
Are they?
If someone's got a thing out, someone's
Good.
over there straight away.
Good.
Like,
Well, they have a bag now, don't they? What's that bag called? Joe Rogan's club has it. And they put the phone into a bag that stops it working.
brilliant. Yeah.
Let's have some more of that.
I think put my brain in there a few times. I think, yeah, honestly.
I know it used to be all fields around here.
Honestly.
Sorry, people.
No, honestly,
Sorry.
though, I love a good rant sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think each to their own. But I think each to their own. It's like alcohol, each to their own. Phones,
Yeah.
each to your own. Each to your own. Live how you want to live. Personally, I just think a phone is something that's like, you're talking about why people are burnt out, as we're talking about and chronically stressed.
Yeah.
There's something in your hand that
Yeah.
induces it a lot.
Yeah, I talk a lot with Mark about bandwidth, or he talks to me about it because I'm traditionally severely lacking in it, and I would say more than 90% of my issue comes from tech. So it's like, I need to do an email, or I need to check my phone, or you know what I mean. It's like, and when I've put rules upon myself, like you're only going to check your emails, or I'll take my emails off my phone,
Yeah.
and only check them maybe 3 times a day, like morning, afternoon, and night.
Yeah.
My headspace is so much better.
Yeah. That's
Honestly,
time blocking things.
yeah,
It's two things. Removing the stimulus. So remove the mail thing. Like I said, just delete it. And then the second thing is having blocks, like clear rules. I only check my emails at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. And I don't have WhatsApp on my laptop or anything like that.
See, I have it on my laptop. I try not to use it on my phone.
I'm the other way around.
Right.
I don't have it on my laptop. Nothing's on my laptop. If you look at my laptop, you think, is this actually been used by somebody? Because there's nothing on the desk, nothing. The only thing I have on there is a telegram. Because I never go on my laptop to do anything personal. I can remember the last time I went, right, I've got some stuff to do at home. Let's get my laptop.
Really?
It's on my phone. So I suppose I've divided my life up into my laptop is work, my phone is personal.
It's not a bad idea. I can't do it.
I haven't done it consciously.
I've got bad neck, so if I use my phone too much, it really hurts. That's why I'm the opposite. I try to do most of my stuff on a laptop and not use my phone.
Yeah.
It doesn't work because I'll be driving somewhere and someone...
You need a home computer.
Yeah, desktop.
You need a home computer in one of the bedrooms.
That's it.
Remember the days?
Yeah.
Bloody hell, trying to watch porn on a home computer in the hallway or something. It was never danger porn, we call that. It's like on the dial-up.
Yeah.
Come on, the image just going ding. You're like, I want to see the whole thing. Mum's coming. Tap it off.
You're probably too young, but I remember do you remember when Amstrad came out, that first computer with was it a Spectrum 48K or was that a different, that wasn't Amstrad, was it? There was that. And
we had one of them.
Spectrum, and it would literally take half an hour
to load it up.
minutes to load a game.
And then now and again, it wouldn't load.
You do it on a cassette and it'd make all these weird noises.
Yeah.
And,
and all the lines.
Imagine now if...
And you're like, I don't think it's going to work. Why? We've been here for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
I think it's not working.
Horace goes skiing.
Yeah.
I think we
And
had
the games were
Manic
shit as well.
Miner or something. Manic Miner, is it?
Don't
know. Brilliant. The old Commodore 64.
That's it. But there was a...
My brother
there was
put a
Spectrum,
controller
it was like
through our
a black
Commodore 64.
one and it had like rainbow colours down the side of
Amstrad.
it. Is that Amstrad?
Yeah.
ZX Spectrum.
That's it.
Or Spectrum, something like that. Yeah. My brother smashed our keyboard, I remember that, in a fit of rage.
Because it wouldn't load
No,
up.
I think somebody beat him. My brothers are a lot older than me, 10 and 8 years older than me. So I was the little brother who got one go every 10. You know? You can play the winner kind of thing. We had
I sensed some trauma there. Simon.
There's a bit of childhood trauma. They had a snooker table for Christmas, you know, like one about as big as his desk, and you know, I got to be ref. In fact, I think I need to talk about it to somebody. When I was 12.
Oh, not me.
8.
I'm not interested.
You don't give a fuck, do you? You're all about alcohol free now, aren't you?
We can unpack that if you want to.
Can we unpack it? Can you put it back together?
Probably not.
Can you find a sense of meaning in it for me?
No, because I'm the oldest of two and I don't have any brothers.
Oh, you were the bullier.
Yeah.
You were the one who was in control.
Not really.
I was the repressed.
I had a mate who was the youngest of 3 lads and his brothers used to kick the shit out of him and they were
my
just mean
brothers.
to him. They're great now, but like back then I really felt for him.
My brothers were great. Great.
That's
to
what
me.
brothers do, innit?
Great to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably give me shit, but they were great to me. I think, you know, you were touching on unpacking it and talk therapy. We were talking about that off camera as well, aren't
Yeah.
we? When
Talking.
is enough talk therapy enough?
Well, you mentioned, you know, if someone's going to the same person for 22 years, maybe it's time to get a new therapist or stop talking about your problems.
Yeah, if the conversation hasn't moved on. But one thing I always say to people is if when I'm coaching someone, I'll say, I know you're making progress. Why is that? Because the conversation's changing.
Oh, right. You're going off topic, so you're not thinking about...
Well, what I mean is like, we're not talking about the same things we were talking about.
Yeah.
I'll often say, remember when you were talking, oh God, yeah, I remember that, yeah. Like if the conversation doesn't change,
Then the person...
then I start to think, are we moving forward here? But when the conversation starts to change, I think that's a good barometer that you're making mental progress.
I definitely think talking helps. Even if it's just to a mate about something, just getting something off your chest. I know it sounds a bit, you know, trite and a bit cliched, but it's true. Like a problem shared and all that. It's true.
I don't, well, there is people who will argue. I used to argue against talk therapy.
Really?
Yeah, I will not argue against it, but I used to be like, it's not as effective as this.
Okay.
But then...
Well, you might be right.
No, I'm wrong. I've been wrong about loads of things. You could ask me everything I've been wrong about and I could tell you. What have you been wrong about?
So let's back up to that one. So why were you wrong? How do you know you were wrong?
Because talk of therapy is very effective for many people. And I'm a big advocate that there is no one thing to solve your problems or to improve your life. Everything has its place. And if you are somebody who has got nobody to talk to, Imagine going and talking to an individual for half an hour about your life. And that individual is skilled in the art of conversation.
Yeah, knows what to ask and
knows where to prompt and when not to prompt. And over a series of weeks, you can be guided to maybe like a filing cabinet. A lot of our brains, one of the best analogies I was given is like a filing cabinet. And some shit happens, and you've got these files, and when shit happens, it breaks the file, and there's bits of paper that should be in this file, and it like one bad thing can almost spread through your thinking, spread through the files. So if you can pick them up and talk about them and put them back where they're meant to be and order them up, I have found great help in talking to people who were good communicators.
Right, or listeners.
Yeah. Because talking is good. It's probably not that good when you talk to the wrong people.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, wow, I'm talking to the wrong individual here. You're just trying to ram advice down my throat, or you don't get it, or you don't want to get it, or I don't feel heard. But I think, so why I was wrong was, to circle back, it's because I was naive and I was a bit younger, and I was probably trying to say, no, our thing's the thing. But actually I learned to realize, no, there is benefit in that. And there's benefit in our thing. And some people need to go talk, but then there's talking's going to be done. And then you need probably something else.
Yeah.
So I think the problem is when someone says, this is the thing, or talk therapy is the thing. It's like, well, it's not the thing if you don't go and change anything, or if you keep treating yourself like shit, but it's definitely beneficial. A cold shower's beneficial. Yes. Are they the thing? The thing that's going to, you do this, everything's fixed. No. Is making money going to help you? Is having a great relationship going to help you? Yeah. But they might not be the thing. Do you know what I mean? But for some people, they are the thing. They're the missing link. So I think...
Because they've got all the other bits going on.
Yeah, I've been wrong about loads of things. And I think I'm glad I'm wrong about loads of things, because I hope it shows that I'm willing to be wrong, and I've grown and I've changed.
What's the latest thing you've changed your mind about, do you think?
In my line of work?
Or anything?
In my line of work, it would be, I've said this again off camera, I don't think adding more daily habits to your life is going to be the thing that improves your mental, emotional well-being. Which I realise is...
But you used to think that was the case?
I don't know if I ever thought that was the case. I don't think I was aware of what I thought was the case.
Okay, now you know.
So I suppose I've been pondering for ages, why is the mental health stats increasing? Now there's loads of factors to that, 100%, right? But we seem to, a lot of people that come into our free stuff, and it's kind of like, yeah, I know, I am hydrating, I am moving. Oh, the cold thing, I know about that. I go cold water swimming. And it's like, but they're still not feeling much better. So they're doing that stuff.
And then if you don't do it, you beat yourself up for not doing it.
Yes, then it becomes like, well, what else do I add into my day? You know, maybe I should be breathing and meditating and journaling. And I'm like, yeah, these are all good things. These are things that are good. We teach them, but we give them away for free. Yeah. It's like, yeah, you should. So I suppose when I pieced back, I'm like, why do people do all that and nothing changes for them? They're not doing it well enough? Are they need to do more of it? Well, how much time have you got in your day?
Or maybe they're not doing it.
Your whole life becomes about your self-care now, your whole day.
They're just treating it like a tick list, but they're not fully engaged in it when they're doing it.
Well, I look back to my own life and I'm thinking, actually, I wasn't doing a lot of that. I was doing a lot of physical stuff. So I plugged in a lot of mental stuff. And I started doing daily habits, some sort of little morning routine and a nighttime routine, which I think is more important than a morning routine for the average person.
Right.
So I would ditch most of your morning routine a little bit, but I tend to think nighttime's more important. But then I get to the point, well, what did I do? So I did all that. I set some goals, started moving. And then I remember the first thing I was like I am mentally all over the shop. And I went through a period of like, I'm really going to hammer meditation, for example. I'm going to really delve into that. And then I was like, God, I'm journaling about, everyone's journaling their wins from the day, appreciations, gratitude. Brilliant. Then I was like, God, I really don't like much about who I am. I need to work on my self-worth. And so then I went and worked on self-worth. And then I was like, God, there's other elements to myself that I'm not comfortable with. And then I went and did a period of shadow work, and
What's that?
it's kind of like shadow would be the things you would rather not be, the things we all have a shadow. We all have things we're unaware of that we'd rather not be. And it's going and unpacking them. And
It's usually what you criticise other people for.
exactly. So learn about projection. So I went and did that. That was really useful. But also I did a lot of work on sorting out the way I handled money. I also went and did a lot of work on actually, and then I realised like, I've become so insular in this journey. I forgot how to communicate with another individual.
Okay.
And maybe I've got some trust issues.
All right.
And so you start, on this journey, you start thinking, well, actually there's lots of things. Drinking 2 litres of water and jumping in a cold shower didn't
Change your financial
do any of
situation,
that, right? I had to learn all these other things along the way. So I suppose what I'm trying to say is I think sometimes we're saying, well, if you want to feel good, just, you should move. It's like, yeah. But a lot of people are doing that and still not really feeling how they want to feel. And they're like, well, God, what's wrong with me? I'm doing all of the stuff. It's like, actually, you probably just need a period of time. I don't do shadow work every day, but I went through a focused period of shadow work and it benefited me massively. And then I did a focused kind of work. The last 3 months, I don't know if you've noticed, but I sorted my physical
I noticed that
body out.
I need to get my tickets to the gun show.
Yeah, so I was, but it's because I'm like, I need to really focus on my physical health. I had a period of my life where I focused on meditation much more and neurofeedback, but I still meditate every day. But I had a period.
What's neurofeedback?
So getting wired up and the activity in your brain and training certain brain states.
What with equipment
Electrodes.
on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Story for another day. But I suppose, again, the point I'm trying to make is like, there are things I picked up and went hard on. It kind of solved a lot of problems for me. Daily habits were the staple. And then I was like, oh, that's great. And then as I moved through life, maybe something else. And I was like, I need to work on that. I picked that up. So for me, when I say daily habits aren't the answer for the average person, it's like, for me, it's what sorts your system out, gets everything working well. But then there's probably loads of other little issues that if we just focus on for a bit, put to bed, they're not things we're going to do every day.
Yeah.
But we work on them, we put them to bed. And that is how I evolved through my journey. So we were talking about flow previously. I got super obsessed with flow because I was like, I need to be more productive. And flow, what's flow? God. So I spent 2 years like working on flow.
Are you the type of person that like, when you're getting something new and you really dig it, you just go all in and down the rabbit hole?
Yeah.
Right.
Obsessively, yeah.
That's good.
It can be, but it also can be very destructive when that thing is not helpful for you. Because it doesn't differentiate between good and bad, that mindset.
But I think that because I'm not like that usually, or if I am, it certainly won't be for long periods. But I think that that's such deep work that it is really good for you. And then you might not do it again for years, but it's in there. It's like, it's a tool. Like you've mentioned, you'll do something for a while. Rather than scratching, because I tend to scratch the surface of all those things on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Don't really get, it's almost like I've got to do my journal because it's a thing I have to do. And I'm not really present when I'm doing it. Right?
Exactly, because and you should do it every day because it's a daily staple.
Whereas you'll go deep into something for an extended period.
Yeah, and that's how we built what we in Unbreakable. We have something called the path.
Yeah,
and that's where I realised that's what makes it really unique in the sense you come in and you do daily habits and you track them, but then you get given little challenges all the time and they're laid out in an order. So and you get to choose which challenge you take. We call them upgrades. So a few weeks in, it's like you can take something we call calm in the chaos, self-worth cultivator, or health upgrade, right? And the individual gets there and says, God, what do I really need to work on in my life? It's my health. And they have a focused challenge for 30 days on their health. Or they go, oh God, I am all over the shop. I need to take the calm in the chaos upgrade. And they work on it specifically for 30 days. Or they go, I need to work on my self-worth. I've got numb. And they work on that specifically. Now imagine if you said to that individual, right, you've got to do these
all three
every day for the rest of your life. They'd be like, I just can't fit it all in my life.
Yeah.
And so it's like taking these specific upgrades and they get harder as the path progresses. So as you move through it, you get another set of upgrades. We've got upgrades for grit. And was I wrong before? I think what I didn't realize is how important that was. And that's when I think general public who are just trying to improve how we feel, sometimes we get stuck in thinking, well, I'm doing these daily habits enough, I feel a bit better, but It's like, yeah, because you need to lean into an area and work on it.
Yeah. Interestingly, that's how the best musicians, just bringing it back to my industry, if you like, they practice. They say you're better off practicing on one or two things, like that's it, than practicing 5 or 6 things. And most musicians do a bit of scales, a bit of technique, a bit of tone, learn a tune, probably 5, 6, 7 things. But the masters don't. They might do 3 months on one thing.
Yeah. I've shared that with this health thing I had. I went, right, for 2 months, what are you working on this month? I'm going all out on gut health.
Right.
I'm not going to do a little bit of gut health. I'm doing all of the gut health, like focused. And it made a massive difference. I couldn't keep that up for 90 days, but I went all out and then toned it down.
Right.
And then made it something I do.
Yeah.
In our course, High Performance Mind, it sounds like we're promoting it now, but I'm a big fan in people who are busy, high-performing business owners, entrepreneurs. It's like, yeah, daily habits, wonderful. They're not the answer to your performance. They are, if you look at a phone, you've got iOS.
Yeah.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. So you go, okay, daily habits, look after
That's
the
your
iOS.
Oh, yeah.
But now you need to flip into a mode, as we call it. So how do you just access focus on demand? We call that mode. So it's like we teach people how to access that mode.
Yeah.
How do you switch off on demand? That's a mode. So they're like the apps.
Okay.
So recovery, for example, most people will stay burnt out because they're trying to do their recovery every day, trying to do their health every day, trying to do their mind every day. Whereas we say, forget that. Take 2 evenings a week and really recover for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So what becomes more important than daily habits are weekly habits, monthly habits, quarterly habits.
Yeah. Yearly. Yeah.
And having them built in, and so then all of a sudden you can have a much more focused effort. Because if I say to somebody who's, I don't know, got a 20 million a year business, or you're an entrepreneur who's got, like a few 100,000, whatever, and they're like, I'm working for myself, I'm like, okay, you need to recover today, you need to learn, you need to focus, you need to live. Oh man, I ain't got time for that shit.
Yeah.
It's like, but okay, one evening this week, focus, hard recovery. Oh, brilliant. 1 weekend a month, do this. Yeah, great, I can do that. And so it's about weekly, monthly, quarterly. And that's how we get people out of burnout really effectively. And it's in the day, it's like, well, look after your operating system, but when you need to flip into focus mode, here's how you do it. It takes 10 minutes, boom, boom, boom. You want to be more creative? Here's how you do it. 10 minutes or 20 minutes. Teach them what we call stacks. Focus stack, creativity stack, switch off stack. And I think that is where the future of performance is. And I also think the future of well-being is in focused upgrades when you need them.
I like it.
And having the ability to dance around and just have these staple habits that you stick to.
Yeah.
Rather than, okay, because a lot of people say, Simon, do I have to keep doing this every day? It's like, bloody hell, you'd have 500 habits.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Imagine if you had to do that practice every element of music every day.
Yeah.
You'd be like,
Well, you just overwhelm. You just don't do any of it because you don't know where to start.
Yeah.
And then you feel like you're not getting anywhere with any one of them.
Yeah.
Whereas if I practiced one thing every day for 20 minutes, I'd at least feel some progress. And that's the key.
If you said, oh God, I've been playing lately and I'm struggling with this, I'll practice a bit harder on that for a month.
Yeah.
I've got that up to scratch now. Let's move, And I just think that's, if you look at any journey anyone has ever gone on in personal development, they've gone and pursued different small elements
I think
when they needed to.
Yeah, and I think it's a thing in industry as well. Like people that kind of fully immerse themselves in one thing for a while, rabbit hole type stuff, and then they come out of it and then they immerse themselves in something else. And over the time, they've learned lots of different skills.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's how I chose, and that's where I wasn't say I was wrong, but I certainly say I wasn't aware of what we were doing and why it was so effective until I've gone, it can't just all be goals and habits, can it? Set a morning routine, chase some goals, celebrate it.
Yeah.
Why is that not working for most people?
Yeah.
Because it's the right step at the right time. And most of us don't know what that step is. So I had to come into something like ours, for example, and go, it's probably one of these, isn't it? And you go, oh my God, yeah, and here's how to do it. Oh, brilliant. I needed that.
I definitely need to approach things more like that.
You reckon?
Yeah, I scratch the surface a lot of stuff.
Just to interrupt you, I use that analogy though a lot in recovery.
What?
Scratching the surface.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
exactly
the
what it
charger
is.
analogy. It's like you're just doing a little bit every morning,
Yeah.
right? You're putting 10% charge into your phone. How about once a week we do an overnight charge and put 80% charge in your phone? Oh God, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Because how could you do 80% charge every day in your own habits? And actually, that's when people's routines become a source of burnout themselves.
Yeah.
So if I'm knackered, why? I've been up since 4.
Yeah, trying to do all this
I did
stuff.
4 hours of prep before I went about my day. It's, oh my God. Yeah.
It makes total sense. I'm going to try it.
Do it. Think, what do I need to focus? Well, you're kind of doing it with the alcohol thing.
Yeah, that's one thing, but that's kind of like just not doing something rather than actively doing an extra thing. So where I could use that is, it certainly is in my practice. So at the minute, because my neck's knackered, I can't play for long periods of time. So I've been thinking, well, if I can only do 20 minutes a day, that's like 5 minutes on 4 things. And now I'm thinking, no, just pick one thing and do it for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
You know?
that makes sense, yeah.
But it's hard to do that. For me, it's hard to do it as a musician because I know there's all these other areas that I need to work on, but I'll be scratching the surface. And it's the same with health, it's the same with diet, you know.
I'm a big fan in focused bursts on what you need and then scale back. Make a real effort on something, like we said, scale back. And that's where we build it into all our stuff. And I know this is a long episode, but it's a good one.
Yeah.
But if you want to talk about something I've not been wrong about, but something that was brought to my attention, I went for a drink with an old friend.
Should we do this on the next episode or do you want to do it now?
I'm looking at producer. Next episode? No, now.
We went for a drink.
So bumped into this girl and her friend at the spa. She went, hey, Simon. Ah, God.
Are we
Debbie.
spa the shop or a health spa?
Half spa, because I'm cool like that. And
Spot the Yorkshireman.
yeah. Well, it's funny because I was chatting to the chap who runs my business mastermind. I said, anyway, mate, I'm going to have to get back to you. I'm off to spa. And he went, off to the spa. And he went, mate, what are you sparring in? Is it some kind of box? I was like, no, the spa.
The spa.
Wrong bloke. But anyway, we were, she recognised me and I immediately recognised her. Didn't look any bloody different from school, really. And I hadn't seen her since I was 16, probably.
Nice.
Which is a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
She was a friend, chatting away. She's a pain psychologist. And she's just obviously followed me a bit on Facebook, seen me around, interested. We'd had a conversation a while back. And I thought, a lot of people who come through our stuff, chronic health issues sometimes. Not many people, a lot of people got chronic health issues.
Yeah.
I thought, I was that person, I was like, I really want to bend your ear.
Yeah.
Like I said, can I get an hour of your time? I'll pay you, whatever. She went, don't pay me, let's just catch up. I'd love to catch up anyway. And we were in there and she was talking about the word just, right? Mm-hmm. She said about stopping saying it.
Right.
Because nothing is just. You didn't just, I just went to the gym. It probably took a lot of effort. And she was talking about, I suppose, the psychology of sometimes when we just say just, we're always doing ourselves down.
We demean something or belittle it, yeah.
And the amount I say just, like honestly, I'm getting emails. I just wanted to, I look at it and go, no, I'm going to take just out.
Yeah.
In my words, I'm like, I didn't just go for a walk. I went for a walk. Yeah. It sounds stupid, but.
It's clever, that.
Yeah. And in coaching, I started noticing when people go, I just did this. Like, you say just, but actually, it's pretty amazing when you think about it. And she basically was talking to me about language.
NLP.
Yeah, a little bit. And also how it can take just as much grit to limit yourself as it does to do more.
Okay.
And I thought that was really brilliant. She's like, it takes more grit. I was encouraged to stop meditating for 60 days in a course. To
stop meditating?
Yeah.
Why?
It was like coming off your stuff, basically. Like, come off it, or you like, I need to do this.
Yeah.
And it took so much grit to not meditate.
Yeah.
And I suppose for people with chronic health issues, sometimes we have a lot of challenges which are do more physically. Yeah. And she's like, well, maybe have some way you say, okay, you can only do this amount of steps.
Okay.
Like, because they have to limit. It's hard. It takes a lot of grit for them to
hold back.
Because they want to do more, but they can't. So I think one of the things I think I've noticed was sometimes we'll always do more. But for some people, they find more easy. If you say, well, okay, you've got to do less.
It's hard.
That's hard. for some people. And how we can litter that in and go, okay, this week you're going to do less. And see how people have to use a bit of grit to do that, a bit of mental grit. You're nodding. But do you know what I mean? She opened my eyes up to those two things. So there's two things I've learned recently that I thought, actually, maybe we are a bit more. Maybe we need to be less.
It's human nature, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
To want more, whatever it is.
Well, sometimes the belief that if I do more, I'm doing better.
Yeah.
But that's not always the case.
No.
You know, it's that you can do more of the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And doing more.
Or do more of one thing, but the quality's shit. So there's no point.
Yeah, like people say, practice makes perfect. Well, it doesn't, does it?
Not if you're dicking about, no.
Well, if you're practicing it the wrong way.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, well, you know, I know that when I started to learn piano, here I go again, I pissed about my own for a while.
Yeah.
And then I went to some lessons. They were like, oh my God, you know what you've been doing?
Yeah.
Because I'd practiced my...
Yeah. Noodling, we call that.
My hands into bad ways, I suppose, bad patterns.
Yeah.
You know, it took a long time to get out of those patterns of how I'd move my, hands and all the, what we call them, the scales.
The finger positions,
Yeah. We're in an hour. 20 to 8 mark.
Stuff.
So, should we wrap it up there?
Yeah.
I wonder if anyone still listens to the whole episode. If you listen to this whole episode, I want you to drop me a line. I want you to comment.
Don't use the word just.
Yeah, I just listened to your episode.
Yeah.
No, you did not. That took a lot of determination.
It did.
Yeah, to get through that that psychological battering of the methods we use.
It's good because it's. I've learned a lot about how you approach what you do. Obviously, I've told you before, like, I love all this stuff. I'm new to it. It's interesting for me to learn about why we do what we do. But you teach that, and yet you're still learning new ways to improve what you do and to maybe help other people and understand yourself and help other people understand themselves. Just like that one thing about the word just, massive.
Yeah. And I would say to the habits sometimes, I'm always like, I'm not doing the exact same habits than when I did 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Were they wrong then? No, they were what I needed 3 years ago. But now my habits have moved on because I need different things.
Yeah, because you've progressed.
Yeah, like your practice on the trumpet's probably not the same as when you were first starting out. I imagine you're learning different things or doing different things or same things but differently.
I'm not practicing much at the minute at the moment.
Oh, because you're not fucking consistent. That's the problem.
It's just because other reasons. But
you know what I'm saying though? Your
though.
Practice now would be very different to your practice when you were first starting.
I think my practice now is more in line with what you've just been saying, which is like work on one thing on a deeper level for an extended period and then step away from that and do another thing.
But we all have to start covering a few bases.
Yeah, at the beginning, yeah.
And this is the same with personal development habits.
You got to get the foundations down.
Get your foundations down, but then go into areas that need working on. With the experts that can help you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you could use that for all areas of life.
Yeah, business.
Business, relationships, health. I want to talk to you about meditation in the next one.
Do it. Right, let's finish up. It's been a blast.
Okay. Thanks for that.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you.